Hey y'all, what's going on? I saw a video recently with DJ Premier, and in the video he was talking about how voice is the most important thing to him. So when he's checking out a rapper or deciding whether he should work with somebody or whatever, the voice is what grabs him, and that's facts. I mean, anyone that knows DJ Premier knows that he's kind of felt this way for a while. I mean, I've followed Primo since '98, and I've read his interviews and seen a lot of his interviews, like almost every one of them, really. And he's my favorite producer ever. So he's someone I study, and I just try to like understand what goes through his mind for a guy who can make that many phenomenal beats. And he was like, "It's the voice," and I agree, man. Like I've always felt this anyway. It's not something that I consciously thought about when I was younger, but as I started to get older, into like the 2000s, I would say, mid 2000s, I was kind of like, this thing is really is a vocal art form. So I'm not talking about the beat. I mean, the beat to me is the most important thing. But the beat, outside of the beat, the next most important thing in a hip hop song is the voice, right? That's really what a rapper brings to the table more than anything. It's the voice. I mean, let's be honest here. Trump's lyrics, it always has. All the great rappers, every one of them from Rakim to Melly Mel to Nas to Jay to freaking DMX to Mos Def. I mean, the list goes on, right? They all have great voices. They don't even have good voices, they have great voices. Now, some of them have better voices than others, but the fact of the matter is that they all have a great voice. I mean, that's just basic. You need to have a great voice for anybody to even take you really seriously on that level as being great, right? And this is why, people say, oh, you a hater. I mean, in the comment section or whatever, but this is why J. Cole and Kendrick will never be those guys, no matter how much marketing they get. They don't have good voices. That's like the number one thing that's really holding them back. I mean, yeah, their bars are kind of trash and stuff like that, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, they'll never be those guys. I mean, people can market them up and down, man. They ain't got the voice. Kendrick Lamar does not have the voice that makes you go, damn, I got chills listening to your music. Your music was amazing. Like, you are the hip hop great. He doesn't have it. His voice is too low energy. And when he tries to have energy, it sounds forced and lame and kind of like introverted in this like corny kind of way. He ain't got it. And now, voice is subjective. I might think someone has a great voice and you don't think he has a great voice. That's fair. I can rock with that. But I do think that when you start hitting that upper echelon, like the greats, again, this is why we talk about the greats, you start hitting that top 10, it starts to become a little less subjective. I mean, let's be honest here, right? People love Snoop. Snoop is one of the greatest rappers ever. Snoop has a phenomenal rapping voice, right? I mean, it's not like one of those things that people really sitting there going like, does Snoop really sound good? Period. No, he has a phenomenal voice. It's really not that subjective, right? Method Man in his prime. Nas, these guys phenomenal voices. They always have. In fact, one of the reasons why people still worship Nas, in my opinion, and why Nas is looked at now and is climbing those lists of top five and such, is that Nas, he always had a great voice. His voice was always phenomenal. But his voice is actually, he's maintained it. It's like, it's deteriorated a tiny, tiny bit, but not nearly as much as most other rappers. Like Nas still sounds very good on a beat. You only have to listen to that new Dave East record when you hear Nas to know this. Like Nas still sounds really fucking good on a microphone. And that's why people respect him. I mean, they say yes to bars and all that, but the reality of the matter is that Nas has a phenomenal rapping voice, and he always has, and he's maintained that quality, right? Voice matters, man. Like, this is black music. Hip hop is a black art form. You can't run away from this shit, right? Like, I am not black American. I hang around black Americans, some of my family are black American. Well, I would say in a way, right? But not really, sort of black Americans who are born and raised out here in generations and such. And I have these conversations with people I know. The reality is that black Americans, they created a lot of modern music and they're very musical, like on some real shit. So we're not sitting here thinking about like bars. Yes, I mean, if you're musical and you're intelligent, of course you're going to throw in intelligent concepts and great rhymes and things, right? Like we love all that too. We love great music. But my point is that it has to work as a music, right? Because we, and I'm saying the collective we as black folk, we invented this shit, right? We know what music does for us and how it's like tapping into sort of like an emotional resonance, right? Like it's music. So if your voice is shit, you're not going to get very far with this rap stuff. Sure, you can have a great marketing team. They can pretend that you're the guy. You can hire people to, put it upon casuals that you're a great rapper, but you're not that guy. Eminem is not top 50 because Eminem's voice is trash a lot of the times. Sometimes it's okay. But Eminem has never had a voice that is a great rapping voice. He's just not, man. Same thing with Kanye. Same thing with Lil Wayne. No matter how much y'all try to put them on these pedestals and force it, they will never be those guys because they don't have the great rapping voices. Now, let's say you're a rapper and you're not blessed with the greatest of voices. Does that mean that you still cannot be a good rapper? Of course not. But I would argue that everybody has the potential to have a pretty good rapping voice. But it takes years. I mean, you have to really develop your flow. You got to know how to project it on a record, right? And that takes time. You got to really figure it out. So it's possible. But some of this stuff is, in a way, genetic, and a lot of it is also just practice, right? Like Nas raps a certain way because he's practiced a lot and he's really good at it, right? So, voice. I mean, you got Primo telling you this, so you can't even say, oh, Primo doesn't know what he's talking about. Primo's worked with the greatest rappers, almost every one of them that have the greatest pen games, right? He's worked with Nas, Jay, Big, Rakim, Kane, Coogee Rap. He's worked with all these guys, and he's telling you that voice is the most important thing that he checks for. Yeah, you should probably pay attention to that. Till next time.